All right, guys, welcome to another live stream. Welcome to another live stream. In today's live stream, we're going to talk about why you need to take financial risk. Financial risk is essential to getting ahead. You're not going to get ahead if you don't take financial risk. And yeah, so one of the things that has sparked this conversation is I was looking at the Yahoo Finance news section, and there's a lot of talk about AI, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and a lot of those spaces are very risky. But those are the spaces now that are booming, right? Those are the spaces that are going to provide the most upside when it comes to investing. Now, the thing about these spaces is that they come with a lot of risk. A lot of these projects, a lot of these companies are new, and sometimes you get caught in a scam, you get caught in a rug pull. So it takes a lot of research to make sure you're getting in a project that you're not going to lose all your money in. But you can't guarantee that for sure. I mean, the only thing you can really the only thing you can really do is make sure you do a lot of due diligence to make sure, okay, I'm getting into this project, who's leading this project, are they reputable, are other people getting into this project? And that's typically, like, if a lot of people are getting into it, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a safe project, but it does mean that it has caught the attention of a lot of people. And if those people are reputable, if you have a good amount of people that are reputable that are getting into that project, it might be something that you want to take a look at, right? Especially when it comes to the crypto space. So, like, for instance, I'll give you one example. I I invested in a DEX called Alex, and that project, it's doing pretty good now, but I invested 8,000 into the project, and I think like 2 to 3 months later, they got hacked. Now, where did the hack come from? I do not know. Um, a lot of people were speculating that it was an inside job, that it was people that created the token, but you just don't know in those situations. So, but I say all that to say it was a risk. I think that $8,000 position is, I think it's like at 1,400 bucks right now, but I think it came up today. Let me check. Give me just a sec. Yeah, it's up. Yesterday was at 1,400. Today it's around 22. So I think it's gonna rebound. I don't think it's a project just because they got hacked that it's gonna go to zero. A lot of projects in the crypto space end up getting hacked. It's just part of the process. You got to remember, in the crypto space, a lot of these projects are open software. So people come in, people make tweaks to the software, people, they contribute to the project. But a lot of those, some of those people are bad actors, and they take advantage of exploits in the code, and most likely you'll be exposed to that if you're in the early stages of the project. You like you typically, and if you're early, if you're trying to make a lot of money, and if you do end up making a lot of money, it's because, sorry, I just say, it's because you were probably early to the project, one, or maybe you weren't early to the project or company, but that project or company had a lot of upside at the time that you got in and you made money. But most of the time, when people make a lot of money, it's because they got in early on the project. And again, if you're getting in early on the project, you usually are exposed to those early risks. Typically, early in the project, and again, specifically, I'm talking about crypto or any companies in general, or a company in general, whether it's on the stock market, whatever the case may be. You're exposed. If you get in early, you're exposed to all that risk. So I get risk in the crypto space. If you get in early, the code hasn't been tested to its best ability, like let's just say like a Bitcoin or Ethereum. So you're early, you might get exposed to a hack. Um, Early on in a company might, you know, beef up their numbers to make it seem like they're doing good, or beef up their sales. So on paper, it might look good, but really, they're really not doing good. They're just inflating the numbers. So those are risks you get exposed to when you invest in paper assets. Now, real estate, it's a little more concrete. So it's hard to get scammed in real estate, but people get scammed in real estate as well. Um, it's just a lot harder, right? Because you have a physical property. But I say all that to say you're not going to make any money if you don't take any risk. You may lose a few $1,000 trying things out. You may get into a project, you put five to $10,000, project ends up crashing and you lose money. But again, it's those experiments that you do that are going to lead you to that one that's going to take off and make you a lot of money. But with the problem here that I see, most people, they don't take any risk at all, or they get to a point where they save so much money that they're so afraid to go into the bank or and withdraw that money to make it an actual investment. You can't really save your way up to wealth. You're going to need a vehicle that's going to help you multiply that so you can cut down the time. The ultimate goal is to cut down the time, right? Like, you want to cut down the time that it takes to get to your first six figures, to your first seven figures, and multi seven figures and things like that. You're not going to get there quick enough if you just put your money in a 401k and expect to get the same 7 to, or I don't know what it's usually like 7 to 12%, but more like in that 7 to 8% range. You're not going to get to wealth that quick. And then also, in vehicles like that, the 401k, it's going to take you a while to get to your number. Most people don't get to their number. Most people don't even get to their number one. And then in two, you're going to be getting to that number at 65, 70, right? At a period where you're still functionable. If that, I don't even know if that's the right word to use, but you still function, but it's like you're old. You can't really enjoy the money. Most people want to get gain a substantial amount of money. And their an ideal time would be their early 30s, or early 40s, things like that, where you're still able to enjoy the money you made. So yeah, I think you need to take financial risks. What I don't condone is, I have to say, I don't condone, as long as it's under control. I think people can use debt or credit if it's controlled to take a risk. Most people say, oh, you shouldn't use a credit card to invest in this, or you shouldn't use debt to make your first investment and stuff like that. I think, if it's controlled, if you have a steady job, I think you can go out, and use a credit line or a credit card to make your first. Now, obviously, it has to be calculated in those instances, because obviously credit cards charge you a crazy percentage. So if you don't have a plan to pay that off quickly, like, so for instance, I'll give you an example on, you know, I'll give you an example on a scenario and where using a credit card makes sense. Quick flips, right? I've never done this before, but I heard Richard Fain talk about it. Let's say you had a credit card credit line for $5,000, and you were gonna buy just to say a watch, maybe a Omega watch, and that Omega watch you could resell it for $7,500, but you could get it maybe on a watch forum or something like that for $5,000. that would make sense because that in that instance you can flip that watch, make a profit, and pay off the credit card, right? So you don't incur that interest, and then you get to 2,500. But you need to make sure, one, that you have enough to pay that credit card off just in case you don't sell that watch in time, or maybe you sell the watch but you don't get as much as you plan to. Maybe you borrowed 5,000 and you don't get the exact money you want. Maybe you get less, and now you have to front the cost for that. All right, because that can happen too. Obviously, you would be in a deficit if you did that. If you bought the watch for 5,000 and bought the watch for 4,500, but it's better than eating that whole $5,000 cost. So maybe you just have to come up with $500 out of your pocket and just make up that difference. But those are the scenarios. Those are the scenarios that can happen, in that specific situation. But typically, if you're going to use credit cards, I think to use to invest, I think it needs to be sure that you're going to get a quick flip, right? I would say at least 85 to 90% plus certainty that you're going to get that quick flip, so you could take that money and make more money. I've done it before. I have a credit line with the bank, and in scenarios where I was very sure that I could get the quick flip, I would take whatever credit amount out and invest that, and then make that money back quickly, and then pay off the credit card. But I don't. Again, it's just giving you an example of financial risk, because I know some people don't have the money to invest. So, and maybe they do have a credit line, maybe they do have a credit card. So I would say sometimes it's not about getting the money to invest. It's about making sure and doing the due diligence in the investment, that short, quick flip investment, that you're going to actually make some money, right? And then you just use the credit line to make that money. But yeah, so but I think more people, especially with the type of environment that we're going in as far as AI, blockchain, crypto, these are very new spaces. And most likely, if you're going to make money in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be in those spaces. Serious money, right? 6 figures, 7 figures. If you plan to make some money, most likely it's going to be connected to that space somehow. And you just need to know that those spaces are fairly new. So you need to make sure that, one, that it's going to come with some risk. Because any of the projects or coins or whatever you get into are going to be in the early stages if you end up making money, and that can carry risk. But again, I think, looking at these articles, like I look at the Yahoo Finance article or front page almost every day, and it's always something about AI, crypto, blockchain, AI, crypto, blockchain, AI, crypto, blockchain. It's all in your face. And if you go into any of the finance YouTubers on YouTube, that's all they're talking about. AI, finance, crypto, AI, finance, crypto. So, it's just inevitable that we're moving towards that space where everything's going to be about, AI, blockchain, crypto. Obviously, there's some other stuff in there, like EVs and other things. But for the most part, AI is even going to play a part in those industries. Everybody's trying to use it. So, yeah, I say all that to say that, you need to take risks to gain financially. Most of you, or some of you, like I say, most people don't really save that much. But for those of you that save, you need to think about deploying that money that you have in the bank and making it work for you, right? But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Financial risk is essential if you want to get ahead financially, and make sure when you do it that it's calculated. All right, so that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.